Picture this. Your morning is already loud. Notifications, bills that knot in your chest. Now flip the script. What if calm isn't found? It's trained. In the next few minutes, we'll hand you simple moves from Buddhist teachings you can test today. No robes required, just breath, attention, and a willingness to look. We'll use Zen meditation, Buddhist mindfulness, and the Four Noble Truths like tools, not slogans. Stay, because the most surprising part is how ordinary freedom feels when you finally notice it. At its heart, Buddhism is less a belief system and more a user's manual you verify. Through practical Dharma talks and lived practice, Buddhist wisdom keeps asking, what do you see? The Noble Eightfold Path becomes 8 everyday skills you can bring into emails, meals, and money. A tiny daily Buddhist practice, 2 minutes, 1 breath, can turn a messy day into a steady one. This is Buddhism for beginners and seasoned practitioners alike. Practical, human, kind. Bring your attention. We'll bring the map. And reality will do the teaching. Complex question, simple appearance. What is Buddhism? Sounds easy. Until you lean in and the floor drops deeper. Buddhist teachings open like a map that keeps unfolding with each honest look. In Dharma talks, you hear simple words carrying long distances. For Buddhism for beginners, it may feel friendly, almost obvious at first. Yet Buddhist wisdom invites a second glance, then a third. Meaning lands better when you stop chasing and start seeing. You try to pin it. Religion, philosophy, lifestyle. Labels help, until they shrink what shouldn't be shrunk. Buddhist philosophy gives language, not a cage. We'll touch the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path soon. First, feel the question itself before reaching for an answer. Curiosity is the doorway. Patience keeps it open. You don't solve Buddhism, you meet it. In Zen meditation, the breath unpacks your hurry. In Vipassana meditation, you watch mind like weather. Buddhist mindfulness makes ordinary moments unusually clear. Daily Buddhist practice turns small choices into quiet power. We learn by sitting, walking, and noticing what's real. When definitions wobble, stories help. Buddhist monks' teachings often travel as Buddhist stories and parables. They're not bedtime tales. They're flashlights for dark corridors. Buddhist life lessons slip in through memory's side door. A single line echoes in traffic and emails. That echo is Buddhism doing its best work, from the inside out. Where do most of us meet it in the wild? In places that look religious at first glance. Temples, statues, incense, offerings, familiar signals. You wonder, is this a faith, a practice, or a compass? Hold the question. Don't rush to the box. Let's step into those religion-like practices next. Religion-like practices. You enter a temple and the senses nod. Bells, incense, statues. It looks like church, so the mind files it under religion. But Buddhist teachings ask you to notice before naming. With Buddhist mindfulness, you watch the bow before you bow. For Buddhism for beginners, that pause is already practice. Ritual becomes a doorway, not a label. Why bow to a statue if you don't worship it? Buddhist wisdom treats the statue like a mirror. It reflects qualities the heart can grow on purpose. Buddhist philosophy points quietly toward the Four Noble Truths. The Noble Eightfold Path whispers in how you stand and breathe. Form trains the mind long before words untangle it. An offering isn't payment, it's letting go training. A candle says, may clarity rise. Incense says, may confusion thin. Daily Buddhist practice hides inside these gestures. You're learning Buddhist life lessons while your hands move. This is Dharma in motion, not theory on a shelf. Tiny choices become sturdy habits in real time. Then there's community. Sangha, where learning multiplies. In Dharma talks, something lands beneath language. Buddhist monks' teachings arrive as lived examples. Zen meditation sits still. Vipassana meditation watches change. Buddhist stories and parables stitch memory to insight. Together, we practice being human with fewer sharp edges. So yes, temples and offerings can look purely religious. But inside the form, Buddhist spirituality is practicing you. Buddhist teachings use ritual to point back to direct experience. It's scaffolding so the heart can climb without grand speeches. Soon we'll open the books and meet the texts. Let's see how philosophical depth deepens everyday practice. Philosophical depth. Open a Buddhist text. Meet a mirror more than a manual. Buddhist philosophy doesn't hand you answers. It trains better questions. Buddhist teachings turn "who am I" into "what's happening exactly?" Impermanence stops being poetic. It becomes Tuesday afternoon. Interdependence isn't cosmic talk. It's your inbox and breath. Thinking grows quiet because seeing grows clear. The Four Noble Truths read like a surgeon's notes, clear and kind. Dukkha isn't drama. It's the ordinary rub you know well. Buddhist wisdom says craving tightens the knot. Release loosens it. The Noble Eightfold Path maps walking with fewer sharp corners. Right view, intention, speech, these are switches, not slogans. Flip them and experience updates on the spot. Philosophy lands when practice becomes your lab. Zen meditation lets you sit still enough to watch truth arrive. Vipassana meditation watches sensations write and erase themselves. Buddhist mindfulness is how you don't miss your own life. For Buddhism for beginners, attention is entry-level magic. Clarity is less effort, more precision. Books talk, lives persuade. In Dharma talks, one sentence can tilt your week. Buddhist monks' teachings show what freedom handles like. Buddhist stories and parables smuggle light into stubborn places. Buddhist life lessons stack, one small honesty at a time. The mind starts trusting what it can verify. Texts aren't a fortress, they're a bridge. Buddhist spirituality grows each time you cross with open eyes. Daily Buddhist practice turns insight into muscle memory. You carry pages into traffic, meals, hard conversations. Philosophy becomes the way your feet move. Let's step into that movement, the way of life next. Way of life through practice. You don't believe your way into peace. You practice your way there. Daily Buddhist practice fits into breakfast, commutes, and hard emails. With Buddhist mindfulness, you check the breath before you hit send. For Buddhism for beginners, that one pause is a trustworthy doorway. Buddhist teachings become muscle memory, not just nice ideas. We live the answer one small choice at a time. The Noble Eightfold Path isn't a poster, it's motion. Right view before judgment, right intention before impulse, right speech before regret. Buddhist philosophy turns these into switches you can flip. Right livelihood asks, does my work reduce harm or multiply it? Buddhist wisdom grows when calendar and heart match. Ordinary life becomes the dojo. Zen meditation trains stillness. Vipassana meditation trains clarity. Sit, breathe, watch. Waves appear and fade. Buddhist spirituality isn't floating away, it's landing here. In 5 quiet minutes, the mind remembers its options. Buddhist monks' teachings are practical and human. We don't escape life. We meet it cleanly. Ritual helps, and so do sticky stories. In Dharma talks, one line can rewire an afternoon. Buddhist stories and parables reach places logic can't. You test, keep what works. Buddhist life lessons. Teachings become yours, not borrowed. We become the teaching by letting it breathe through action. Over time, a pattern appears beneath your patterns. Suffering rises when craving tightens. It eases when release happens. You start to see this, not just agree on paper. That sight points straight at the Four Noble Truths. Buddhist teachings have quietly guided you there. Let's step into those truths from the inside. Core teaching. Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths are stunningly direct, almost surgical. Buddhist teachings name the wound, trace the cause, show relief, map the path. For Buddhism for beginners, this is your compass when the mind spins. In Dharma talks, you'll hear them like street signs you can trust. Buddhist philosophy keeps them clear, so practice stays human. Let's use them as dials you can turn today. Truth 1. Dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. Life has friction, subtle, steady, everywhere. Missed trains, tight shoulders, praise that fades fast. Buddhist mindfulness notices dukkha without dramatizing it. Daily Buddhist practice says, name it gently, don't become it. Buddhist wisdom treats this honesty as the doorway to freedom. We start by telling the truth about what it feels like to be us. Truth 2. Craving, tanha. The knot tightens when we demand reality obey us. I'll be happy when becomes a leash we hold. Vipassana meditation watches wanting rise and fall in real time. Zen meditation adds space around the urge so choice returns. Buddhist monks' teachings call this heat tanha, thirst without end. Seeing the mechanism is how Buddhist life lessons start to stick. Truth 3. Cessation, nirodha. When clinging softens, suffering loosens its grip. Not fireworks, more like a room opening a window. In Buddhist spirituality, release feels ordinary, breathable, sane. You taste it in a breath that doesn't chase anything. Buddhist stories and parables point to this coolness again and again. Relief isn't later, it starts the moment grasping lets go. Truth 4. The path, magga. 8 skills to practice, not dogmas to recite. Right view, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration. The Noble Eightfold Path turns values into movements you can schedule. Daily Buddhist practice brings them into emails, meals, money. Buddhist teachings become visible in how you talk and choose. Walk a little each day, and the road starts walking you back. So, religion, philosophy, lifestyle, yes, and more than any single box. The 4 Noble Truths are living instructions verified by experience. Buddhist teachings keep inviting you to test, not just believe. In Dharma talks, the map is shared. On the cushion, the terrain appears. Buddhist wisdom stays practical because reality is the classroom. Let's step beyond definitions and meet Buddhism as direct seeing. Beyond definitions. Drop the urge to box Buddhism as religion, philosophy, or lifestyle. Buddhist teachings point to what you can verify right now. Buddhist wisdom isn't a badge, it's trained eyesight. For Buddhism for beginners, that means noticing before naming. Definitions help first, then start hiding the living thing. Trade labels for looking. The room gets bigger. Direct experience is the teacher you can't talk over. Zen meditation loosens the noise so seeing can breathe. Vipassana meditation lets sensations write their honest timeline. Buddhist mindfulness keeps you unseen while life unfolds. Daily Buddhist practice turns minutes into quiet revolutions. Buddhist spirituality feels like standing on your own feet. What do we verify? The 4 Noble Truths in everyday clothes. Buddhist philosophy offers clear grammar. You supply the data. In Dharma talks, we share maps. On the cushion, we test roads. The Noble Eightfold Path becomes 8 durable micro-skills. Tune, view, intention, speech, and the day tunes itself. That's how Buddhist life lessons become common sense. Stories help memory hold the shape of truth. Buddhist monks' teachings travel as Buddhist stories and parables. They plant seeds that sprout during traffic jams and heartaches. You recall a line, breathe once. Craving loosens a notch. Buddhist teachings stay kind because reality is already tough. Each retelling is a mirror, not a museum label. Beyond definitions, we meet Buddhism as a working method. Test, observe, adjust, repeat until relief is reliable. We don't convert, we practice and watch what changes. Together we'll open the door again with simpler eyes. Let's step into what is Buddhism from the inside, and frame it with a clean, inviting path you can feel. If any part of today's Dharma talk landed, make it yours in the comments. Which 4 Noble Truth felt most real today? Where did dukkha show up? Traffic, tension, expectations? Which piece of the Noble Eightfold Path will you test for 1 week? Right speech, right intention, or right effort? Your reflections turn Buddhist teachings into lived Buddhist life lessons. Be bold. What craving are you willing to loosen today? In 1 sentence, share a moment when Buddhist mindfulness helped you pause before reacting. Or choose a daily Buddhist practice. 2 minutes of Zen meditation or a short Vipassana meditation, noticing sensations rise and pass. These small moves are how Buddhist wisdom becomes your baseline. Got Buddhist stories and parables from family, a book, or a teacher that changed how you see? What line from Buddhist monks' teaching still echoes when the day gets loud? Drop it below so our Sangha can grow. Your insight may be the light someone needs tonight. If this helped steady your mind, subscribe and turn on notifications. Don't miss the next practical breakdown. More Dharma talks, Buddhism for beginners made clear, Buddhist philosophy made useful, and techniques you can test in ordinary life. Before you go, answer this. If calm were a muscle, what's your first rep this week? I'll be reading and bringing your reflections into the next video, keeping this path human, kind, and real.